Today, May 9th, 2026, one economic signal and one planned summit are taking over the global conversation. Why would trade numbers from China matter to families and businesses everywhere? Why are markets watching Beijing and Washington at the same time? And why could next week reshape how companies plan prices, shipments, and investment? China has just reported a sharp rebound in April exports. At the same time, President Donald Trump is scheduled to travel to Beijing on May 14th and May 15th to meet President Xi Jinping. That combination is why today feels like a turning point. This is not only about statistics, it is about confidence. When the two largest trading powers move closer to stable rules, global supply chains calm down. When they move toward uncertainty, costs rise and planning slows. So, what did the new numbers show? Chinese exports rose 14.1% compared with a year earlier. Imports rose 25.3%, and the monthly trade surplus widened to $84.8 billion. In simple terms, the export engine is running faster again. Why did exports rise so quickly? Analysts say buyers have been placing more orders for technology-related components and industrial equipment. Some companies are also building inventory to avoid future disruptions. This supports factories and shipping activity, but it also raises a question. Can the momentum last if global demand cools later in the year? Now, the summit next week is the second part of the story. Trump and Xi are expected to discuss how to extend last year's trade truce and reduce uncertainty. The most sensitive topics are expected to include tariffs, technology controls, and access to critical materials. Even small agreements here can change corporate plans because they set the tone for the rest of the year. One outcome is a practical package with clearer timelines for trade approvals, regular working groups, and language that signals stability rather than surprise measures could be part of the agreement. Another outcome is limited progress with more talk than action. Markets usually react to the difference between promises and implementation. What should viewers watch over the next 7 days? First, any sign that both sides prefer predictable rules over sudden pressure. Second, whether the meeting produces a follow-up schedule rather than a one-time photo moment. Third, whether businesses and market indicators respond with calmer expectations. The key takeaway today is simple. Strong trade data shows China is exporting more again, and a high-level summit next week could decide whether this growth happens under stable rules or under rising uncertainty. That is why today's headlines matter well beyond Beijing and Washington.